And we are back. Next is bait and switch question. Mike, what's the story?
The story of this one is a customer who said, I recently had my roof replaced before starting the work. I signed a contract. Halfway through the job, the owner texted me saying they needed to make a change order and sent a new invoice. He said there will be 2 sets of shingles instead of 1, and that extra labor and waste disposal fees will be required. I told him we had already discussed there being 2 sets of shingles, and when he did the initial inspection, sorry. He responded and said he forgot about that. They finished the roof replacement and sent an invoice for $2,000. My signed contract does read, this agreement may not be amended except for by a writing signed by the parties, and has 0 language relating to change orders. Am I on the hook for the additional $2,000?
Okay, your agreement can't be amended except for a signed agreement, which is what a change order is. So that part's out. Yeah, I mean,
that's sticky because she's right, and the agreement does say that, but the tough part is they did the labor, so then they can.
No, the contract says that it can have change orders, is what that verbiage reads, if I'm reading it correctly.
But it does need to be signed by both.
And she said she did. Yeah, they sent a new invoice. I'm assuming she signed it. Maybe she didn't sign it, but I mean, 2 layers of shingles, $2,000 extra. Like if you miss it on your initial invoice, are you still charging your full retail price? Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
have you ever ran into this where you go tear off a roof? Like what happens when you tear it off? You find out you have to redo some flashing in a certain area you didn't expect, or something.
I think the thing is that she said, "Hey, there's 2 layers of shingles up there." The salesman went out to his truck, put his stuff in Sumo Quote, came inside, signed the agreement with her, didn't add the extra cost for the shingles, and then she in her head thinks, "I told him about the second layer. This quote's less than everybody else. I'm going to sign this one." And then he goes, "Oh, I forgot about that you told me that." And so she's thinking, and she didn't verify that it says somewhere on there that he included 2 sets of shingle or 2 layers of shingles in the quote. So it's like, who's the guy? Like it's either he's getting her or she's getting him. But she thought she was getting him, and now he's trying to make sure he gets her. But I mean, there's probably more terms in the agreement, you know what I mean, than just that one line she's reading. But I think that I think it's going to be sticky, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't say 2 layers of shingles in the quote, she probably doesn't have much of a leg to stand on. He's probably going to say that wasn't in there. You should have verified that it was there. Just like you got to make sure the desk is the right size.
So the subject line is bait and switch or honest mistake. That's what the Reddit user labeled it. In your opinion, Adam, then you're just saying it seems like an honest mistake.
I feel like it's honest mistake or an incompetent mistake, not necessarily malicious bait and switch. Honest mistake could also just be general incompetence. He didn't know how to add it to the quote. He forgot. He was going, yep, no problem. And then didn't actually take the notes. So I think it's the third option is incompetence.
I think the best contractors in the roofing should have disclaimers. Like it's all about communication and setting up expectations. What are possibility for extra? Everybody hates extra costs because you don't know who you can trust. But you should have hey, if we need to replace decking, you can expect X, Y, Z. The worst case scenario, $3,000-$4,000. If we have this, it might cost more, right? What are the potential? Because think about homeowners. There's a big difference between $8,000 and $12,000 or $13,000. For us, it's it's just a couple of grand. But if you couple $1,000, it could be a nice trip for 2. That people might not take just because it took extra couple $1,000. So I say put everything in writing, but also set the reasonable expectations, of worst case scenario.
I will say the other issue here. So she says that they sent a new invoice halfway through the job. At that point, if you get halfway through and then you realize you forgot something and then, oh crap, I was supposed to add that. That's probably not the best. You can try. It's worth a shot. Hey, Homeowner, we forgot this. You might have to add it. And if Homeowner's cool, they're cool. But if this Homeowner's kind of I told you on the front end, you need to eat that. If they told you on the front end, you did an agreement, you're waiting till halfway through the job till the job's done, it's different. I was reading it originally on the front end before they started the work. He's oh, by the way, I forgot that I have to revise the invoice. That would be appropriate. But once the work started, it's kind of on you.
We've eaten so much things over the years. Something like this, $2,000, you got to kind of make an owner call and say, it's you don't want to lose $2,000, more than $2,000 worth of business in the future arguing over this, because it was a simple mistake. At the end of the day, the professionalism is on the business, and you should have really documented it. And I know mistakes happen, and I would really hope that they would just be a homeowner, that those guys can come to an agreement, they can have a reasonable conversation, and as long as he shows that it's not something that's made up. Hopefully it's an insurance job where he can go back and get his money. If it's a retail job, it might be tighter because they have a hard budget. But hopefully this is something.
And I think it's the worst case. It could have been a conversation, and this is on communications. It could be, hey, normally we would charge $2,000, but I forgot to add it. That's on me. So I'm just going to charge you what it cost us, which was the labor, which the tear offs were an extra $15 a square, and the dumpster, call an extra $400 or $500 in a dump. So it's like, hey, $700 instead. Are you okay with that? I think every homeowner would probably be like, okay, that's fair. That makes sense.
Split it. All right. I think that's the verdict. Adam, let's go to the next question.
Yeah, so we're talking number 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is all about, did we make a mistake removing our chimney? This is a person, they had their 100-year-old house has a defunct chimney that goes 4 stories from the basement to the roof. The fireplace was boarded up and sealed when we bought the house. For years, it leaked around the chimney during storms. We had finally paid a roofer to demolish the chimney at the top of the roof and cover it. Looks great. Now I feel like I smell the basement on the second floor. Did we make a mistake and cause some kind of airflow issue in our house?
Yes.
I love chimneys because there's so many people remove them, and honestly, you don't need chimneys if it's falling apart. But you have to do it the right way, and it always cracks me up seeing people trying to push them when they're falling off. You've seen those there. I'm like, what are you thinking? What were you thinking? Like,
Oh Lord.
I love when the roofers say like, oh, I didn't graduate the school or college. Like they wear it with the pride. I'm like, we can tell. You don't understand gravity.
Geometry class probably would have been helpful,
I didn't make it past the 9th grade, but I got here.
Everyone at this table has been a contractor. We're allowed to say this. I mean, do you think, like they said the chimney was boarded up, but like if it was free flowing from the basement all the way up, like it probably was the only air that was getting in or out of that basement. So if you took the chimney out or covered the top of it, you're going to start smelling what it was venting before.
Well, recently we interviewed the chimney doctors out of New Jersey or like that area somewhere up north. And some stats the guy was giving us, like it was scary, like carbon monoxide, like poisoning, like 30% of chimneys actually contribute. Like it's more than a stove or any other appliance because they're not efficient. You have to clean them on a regular basis. You have to maintain them. So the amount of problems you will have with the old chimney is insane for like safety concern, and which is, I get it. How many of us know a lot about chimneys? Not many, and not to mention that they're leak, there's mold, and
it's pretty safe guess what she said. Like so then what's the fix, right? Is the next question. It's like you got to get in there and cap it.
I mean, you could cap the bottom of it so there's
you're supposed to seal it. So the number one reason chimneys leak is because they don't have crickets and metal around them rust, right? Like so. Or wood rots first, and then it's just trouble area for most roofs. Now, if you do it right, and there's plenty of products, if you replace your roof, ask your roofer to examine your chimney and give you better solutions. If it's especially if you live up north where you have snow and stuff, build new cricket. Make sure the flashing gets replaced because most roofers don't even replace the metals around the chimneys because it's hard work. You're dealing with the mortar. It's actually where the true craft comes in.
Well, and sometimes you go to cut in a Riglin, the whole thing crumbles, and then you're standing there with half a chimney in your hands.
That's true.
It's a liability to touch it.
That's where they're always. Every time we have a chimney issue, almost every time it's right there at that flashing right above the roof that we cut into the bricks. Something's there, and a lot of times you see contractors, they just always try to put caulk over it, and it doesn't work. They do.
Just caulk it.
You have to like countersink and then put caulking underneath of it even, but it's a maintenance item. Any kind of caulking, any kind of flashing is a maintenance item.
Yeah, it's a big
upkeep.
Absolutely, it's a big thing with a lot of roofers. They just more actually, I was going to say retail, but yeah, we see it in insurance also too. But a lot of roofers just skip out on the flashings because sometimes flashings, what homeowners don't know is they can tie into other things. For example, we got a stucco house here we just dealt with, and once you replace that roof to wall flashing, where when your shingles meet your roof, there's a flashing there. When it goes into there, you could end up cutting into the stucco. Same thing with chimneys and siding. So a lot of times for your roofers, if it's not caught, and if you don't have a trustworthy contractor doing the work, they can skip that because they can avoid liability of getting into larger things, and sometimes cut back on a little bit of extra money.
But don't
too.
worry, if it's an insurance claim, they'll still invoice the insurance like they did.
Yeah, right.
Well, here's the thing.
And insurance companies will come check.
Here's my personal advice. And we've done with plenty of chimneys here in Minneapolis. You can always carefully remove bricks, because bricks are liability, especially if they're super old. If you live in downtown area, you can remove them. You can install brand new just a pipe. Like we actually installed stove here in a garage in the studio, and you can install brand new pipe with a brand new flashing, so seal it to the shingles. It's going to look clean. It's not going to be authentic like old chimney, but it's not going to be liability, because a lot of chimneys, once they start rotted, with the wood and become so heavy, they start falling apart. The mortar, the wind and rain, takes a toll on them. So now it's fallen on your shingles. So if it's too old and you don't want to deal with the maintenance, you can remove it and have just one of those pipes. No different than you would have on your gas, like propane heaters. And if you do that, now you still have a functional chimney, so it's still air. I think the problem this lady is having, because they seal it, but there's still air, and they trap the moisture there, because it's not just anything.
So do you think that was more than just a roofer issue? Was that an HVAC guy should have came?
Well, you still have a big cavity with a humidity, so it's not just you need to ventilate that area. You can have mold. I mean, who knows what kind of smell she's talking about? It could be anything at this point. So this noise. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we have 2 more stories to share with you. Do not go anywhere.